Let's do it.
Okay. We're going live. Okay, it's I'm watching a circle go round and round. I'm watching a red bar go up. You are live. We are live. Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. Yeah. All right.
How are the computers?
The computers, well, the fans are going nuts. Oh, what was that? Was that me? I think I just got an email. Right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this stream, which we've been trying to fix for about 2 hours. And we think we've got it right, but it might go wrong at any point. I can already see that the frame rate looks pretty low. Oh, no. It looks okay. All right. So hello to these 8 concurrent viewers. I'm here with the AbletonDrummer. Hi.
Hi.
You've come a very, very long way to see me.
Yes.
And you're in my front room.
All the way to Southampton just for you.
It's so exciting. This is exactly the type of stuff I was hoping to do when I moved into this gaff. People like yourself would just turn up and we could go on the internet and talk about shit.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's 7:30, but it might be a different time where you are. But where we are, we're drinking. And this is my YouTube channel. I'll say what I want. You can say what you want. It's fine. We're all adults. But if you're watching around children, maybe don't. Maybe don't do that. Okay, but, we're just going to have a few drinks, eat some Pringles, talk about music, and, in particular, something right in front of you that's got, lights on it.
Yes.
What is that?
It's called the Erae Touch from MPE. I got this via crowdfunding they did, and it's an MPE controller. Maybe some of the people who are watching now know similar stuff, but a bit smaller from Roly. So you got this surface here, which you can use with sticks or with your fingers, or with other things. Maybe, I don't know. We should try
a
this.
Fish.
A fish?
Hit it with a fish.
Do you have a fish?
I don't.
Get a fish?
I should have got a fish.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just touched it with a USB hub.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's doing sound. So actually it's I think, I'm just guessing here, I haven't talked to the company yet, but I think they developed it and then later on found out actually this is cool to play with sticks as well.
Yeah.
And that's where it became really, really exciting and interesting for me, because there are so many electronic drum pads out there which are now, if you're playing in a normal popular band or pop band, genre wise, and using electronic sounds, drummers somehow have to reproduce those sounds live on stage. And all the drum pads which are out there are quite limited when it comes to MIDI, and they are much more thicker than this. I don't know if you can see this now.
It looks pretty thin. It's like MacBook Air thin.
Exactly. And you can see a little bit of my MacBook here, which is a 16-inch, so it's a little bit longer, but it's pretty much the same size. And I'm traveling by train and plane, and so I'm not able to take a big thick thing with me. So this is really interesting for drummers as well. So you got all those different layouts here, which is exciting as well, because you got up to 16 different slots, and each slot can have 2 different layers. So they don't just are different colors, they could be completely different or empty.
It says empty on there. Okay.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
if we probably have a look in here, which we're gonna use later as well. And so you can automate those changes as well. So you can send in a program change, and then you can have a song running. And then if you need a different layout at a different part of your song or your set, you can change the layout.
Okay.
So pretty flexible. You have some scales you can put in here as well. And so you can put in different scales as well. You have a step sequencer in here as well. So that's interesting for people who are using it with synths or other non-DAW stuff. And yeah, so and it's MPE,
which is
compatible.
the hip thing right now. Everyone's MPE nuts. So,
Are you?
Well, I don't know yet because I don't have any MPE controllers in order to try it out, other than the push. But the push only will do polyphonic aftertouch, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried it a bit just using automation, and I think I might have even done a video about it. I can't remember, but I haven't tried it with a tactile surface yet. It's all kind of just automation based. So I don't know what I think of it yet.
I mean, it's. I can give you one example where I think it's really good. So, for example, we have this boat guitar preset here.
So I just want to say to the viewers, if the resolution of Ableton is a little poor right now, I apologise. We're not sure how we can make that better. It kind of looked all right earlier, didn't it?
It looked better, but yeah, I mean,
Something's
just give you.
I mean, yeah, we're kind of really here to talk about the MIDI controller, really. But yeah, you carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I might show this first with the piano. So I just got like C sharp and so on, chromatic layout here.
Oh, so the coloured notes are the white notes. So there are spaces there for the black notes, or
well, this would be C sharp, D sharp, E, and you would have the F here.
Oh, I see. Right.
So,
okay. Yeah.
and this is something. Let's have a look into the editor. So the editor
knocked the Pringle lid off the table.
So the editor can you can define colors, and you can see this white point here.
Yeah.
You can define all that in detail for every pad and every object, and you can just put in objects in here, and I will show this later, like how this responds to every touch, but we could have a look now. If we go to the right slot in the editor, layout number 8, and I need to retrieve, so get the information from the current layout from number 8. Okay, and this is the object I'm using here, and I can define like each. So I have a style section here, and I can define like every field different. So for example, this is field number 2 here, the green one, and I could change the color, and it's not doing it because it's not
What's the field? Is that the amount of space it occupies, or is that are there like designated spaces available across the pad?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what kind of I don't know how to call it, but what kind of object, let's call it object, you are using here. So for example, I could just put in a keyboard. Bam.
Oh.
Yeah, so this would be, let's call it object for now. And what I meant by field just now was you have 15 fields or 15 pads now.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. So it depends on the object you've got loaded.
Yeah.
The amount of space that's available. Yeah, okay. Cool.
And I mean, it's early steps still for me with this thing, and I got it now for 5 weeks around, and I'm still like struggling to find out like every finger animation bit you can do here, disabling shape, click, etc. You can go in quite deep. For now, you can see, yeah. So I'm going chromatically up. That's pitch bend.
Yeah, that's just normal pitch bend, right?
Yeah, that's a normal pitch bend.
Is that going higher than the range that's available in the instrument? You're just using the upright piano in Ableton.
Yes, it's actually
because it sounds like it's going further than 2 octaves.
Yeah, you can define the pitch bend here, where my mouse is now on the, and it's a bit weird because if you set it further up, it's actually now it's doing a half tone, so it's going the tone where I'm actually going to, the pitch value I'm actually going to.
Oh yeah, so no, right, yeah.
Which is, I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's like what the concept is here, and they didn't provide info in their manual yet. There's still stuff to come, I guess, but if I put it down, the pitch bend is much higher. You know,
that's a little bit comedy.
So it's sounding like you got like 48
yeah, it sounds
semitones now.
Yeah,
so 4 octaves.
4 octaves. But just on a semitone.
On a semitone.
Okay.
So if I'm moving this up now, so I'm going like up 6 semitones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can cover a lot of ground with not much movement.
Yeah, so I mean, this it's just one example of what you can do. And the MPE stuff here is becoming interesting if we have a look on this Bode guitar. So those are just samples. They are not chromatic, so they have different pitch each anyways. So if I
This is a nice... Is this an Ableton? Is this an Ableton? Yeah. Bode guitar? I've never had a look at this. That sounds good.
I found it out by accident. So if we put it up, it's... I'm not sure from which pack it is. Shown places. Let's have a look. Drone Lab.
Oh, okay.
So in Drone Lab you will find this.
Oh, I've never had a go on that. Interesting.
And if I just go to the next slot here, it's not a half tone. Yeah, it's just different samples being put in here and then processed by audio. So now the beauty here is if I apply some pitch bend.
Oh,
that's a bit too much. Because, yeah. Let's go into the editor and set the pitch bend the other way around again. You know?
Yeah. So that's kind of almost microtonal then. Can you do like more than one touch?
And what I wanted to show you is like, or what might be interesting for people who don't know what MPE is. Now, just imagine you have a pitch bend wheel, and that's what I'm doing here with one note. And if I got 2 notes, and if I'm doing a pitch bend here, it's shifting both samples up. So if I now activate MPE, it's acting like I have 2 separate pitch bend wheels. So I could move the one up, move the other one down, and that at the same time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very good. Yeah. Very, interesting. I'm almost lost for words. I think that, just a huge amount of potential for sound design and very weird music. Like sort of that was kind of one of the first things that I certainly latched onto, was this idea of certainly polyphonic pitch bend, having one note going up, one note going down. And so the first thing I tried to do was I tried to sort of slide from one chord to another in a kind of very sort of weird way over, like, I mean, I had to do this in automation. And yeah, doing it in automation isn't particularly that nice. You have to kind of do each lane separately. And that was kind of what made me think, yeah, having a controller would obviously make this a huge amount easier. And then all the data will get recorded, right? So, yeah.
We could just record it, so just to see what's happening here. So let's do the same movement we just did. Different. Let's have a look what it's doing in Ableton Live. So can I move this to the side? Let's move this further to this side.
Oh, maybe I can move the I'll move the camera. Oh, no, not that. Hang on. No, you carry on. Don't mind me. I'm just going to move the... Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I shouldn't have moved it at all. I should have just let you do it.
So, yeah, so that's what we got here. We got the C sharp here.
Oh, there's the data down there. Yeah, I see it.
And but that's a slide. We should see, hang on, something's wrong here. We should see the note value. Because it's different, because it's a drum pad. Okay. If we record this, it makes much more sense to record it in a separate MIDI track, because then you can see the pitch bend. And there it should be. Interesting. Okay. No.
Do you have to reveal it in the... I thought there...
There we go.
Is it not the that one? Yeah.
That's what I wanted to show,
Yeah.
So that's the pitch bend information for the note, one note going up.
It's nice that it's on the actual piano roll as well. Because then it's kind of a little bit more intuitive. If it was on a separate lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So, and yeah, interesting that it's not showing up here, because it's, and that's new for me as well, because it's a drum rack. Because, you know, on this track here, we have a drum rack. And if we look on the notes, we don't get the pitch bend information.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's... yeah, well, the piano roll changes when you load in a drum rack in Ableton to when you just load a standard instrument or an instrument rack.
Interesting.
So I guess it would sort of make sense. What about if you click the actual note?
Yeah, if I'm...
Oh, so you mean it's not appearing in the piano roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting. Because it's different to slide, in it. Because the slide...
But you can see the slide is going in two different directions there.
Yeah,
that looks really weird.
Yeah. But the slide would be a different parameter here than the pitch bend.
Yeah.
Slide would be like the X and Y position you're using here.
Yeah.
But it's actually only one X position. Yeah, interesting. So, I mean, you get, and that's like one of the difficulties here. If I'm just playing one note, do you know this MIDI monitor?
I've seen it, yeah. Haven't used it much, but I've seen it around.
It's like, just for people who are watching, it's in the core library. If you got Max for Live, it's in there, and it's always really good to see like what MIDI am I actually producing. So I'm not playing a sound here, I'm just pressing a button, and you can see constant MIDI stream happening here.
Oh, like an event monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
So, yeah, getting like, there's a note off, there's a note on. And you can, let's have a look on the pitch band. Okay, because it's now MPE, doesn't show it as a single note, but if we switch it back, should show it now. And that's so weird with Ableton. And
does that MIDI monitor need to be MPE, or is it anyway?
yeah, I thought because I'm switching off the MPE, because I made an MPE version. Let's have a look what it's doing.
Let me have a look in the chat. Oh, there's some people in the chat. Hi,
Yay.
everyone. 24 viewers. This is nice. Let's. Can you play congas on it with hands like Roland HPD? Is there a percussion template? I'm sure we'll get around to that because we're with the AbletonDrummer, who, if you hadn't worked out already, is a drummer. So there'll be lots of drum talk. I am not a drummer, but I like to play drums, but I'm not very good. Love your channel, Ned. Thanks, Tom Stratford. 1080p Ableton stream. I don't think so. This is more like a 240, 240p. Barely any pixels. It might write itself. We'll see how it goes, but we appreciate your patience. Is it me or is the screen lagging? Oh, don't say that. I get so... That's when the anxiety kicks in. Looks like a drum version of a Lin instrument. Interesting. Massive rolly block.
Yeah. Well,
Turismo Blue says, pass me a Pringle.
okay. Pringle time.
Paradiddle 16 is also a drummer. I would have guessed from the name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can do a paradiddle.
Yeah. Bet.
Not for very long. And I have to start with the left hand. But
Are you left-handed?
I'm left-handed, yeah.
Right.
So I kind of play the drum kit in a bit of a weird way, like with an open hat, snare, kick. Because I've tried it this way, but I can't do the kick with the left foot. I've just gotten so used to doing kick with the right foot. So I'm playing the hi-hat like a ride and the ride like a hi-hat. So I on my kit at home, I have like the ride right here.
Ah.
And then the hi-hat there.
Okay. Interesting.
And I'm playing the snare with the right hand.
So why don't you put the hi-hat next to the ride next to the hi-hat?
I've done that as well, yeah, but it takes up more space.
Okay.
So, but I actually, for a while, I kind of tried to, have the hat here and the ride there. So I could do them both. But sometimes the ride would come a little bit too over the snare and I would sometimes hit the ride. I'm not a drummer. I'm not a drummer. I cheat drumming.
I just opened up a different app here, MIDI monitor. So just to show you, this is just all the info which is happening here. Yeah, and in here we can see we get pitch wheel.
Is this just
pitch wheel. That's just the pitch wheel.
But is this the what MIDI monitor program is this? Is this the Mac one or is this a?
No, it's
downloaded it?
from snoise.com called MIDI monitor. It's free, for Mac OS, and it's great because as you can see, the MIDI monitor in Ableton is not picking up everything, and this way you can always just check. So I mean that's something I want to mention. It's a great controller. You can get a lot of information from it, but you are getting a lot of information from it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of data coming in.
Yeah. So you need to make sure, like in the beginning, to switch stuff off. Especially if you're MIDI mapping stuff, you're just pressing one button and you're getting like on 4 different CC messages.
Yeah, I know exactly what that's like. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think when that happened. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was trying to get some MIDI data. Oh no, it was from an XY pad. That was it. I think it was from a Korg that Korg like nano controller that had the XY pad in. I used to be a big XY pad guy.
Okay.
I was just like, I just want everything to be XY pads. These days, I'm a little bit more like, these days, I like faders more. But I've been through every XY pad MIDI controller. But yeah, I worked that out pretty quickly that like, if you're touching it and moving your finger around, you're getting 3 messages. You're getting X, Y, and on and off. So it was kind of quite difficult to not only know what message you're getting, but how to sort of isolate it so that you can map it to what you want to do. So, but what has that been like for you? Because so far you've kind of just done MIDI input like to notes rather than mapping to Ableton.
I've done one mapping example here I wanted to show you. So I have this addictive drum track here, which is just a acoustic drum sample VST, and some electronic drums have positional sensing, so they just use multiple piezo pickups, and depending on like how close you are playing to a certain piezo pickup, it gets detected and translated into it's now a hit further to the rim but still on the head. How do you say Rand? It's on the side of the head. On the side, it's not the side of the head, but if you play the head.
Well, yeah, I was in a band for a while with a guy who had a Roland TDK, but we're talking 20 years ago. But even then, I mean, we were blown away by the tech, especially on the snare. So he got a lot of articulation out of the snare, but I think we kind of worked out that there were maybe there was definitely a sensor for the rim.
Yeah.
And a sensor for the head, but there might have been a third one somewhere that was a second head one or something. Okay. But that gave a lot of room for like articulation. The libraries were okay. So he used the brain, the built-in. But I was like, mate, we've got to get that MIDI out and get it into a computer. Yeah. But like most of the time, he just used the brain, and the sounds were quite good. But like I think probably there were PCM sounds, and so you're not going to get a huge amount of articulation out of a PCM engine compared to like a multi-sample. Yeah, yeah. But yeah.
So obviously all those drum VSTs are multi-sampled. And
this will be my first YouTube video with addictive drums in.
Sorry. This one. Still playing.
I should point out that we're actually looking at Toby's computer, not my computer.
So let's so the idea is like, because you have samples which are recorded when the stick is playing more, let's just imagine this is a drum and I got the center and I'm playing towards the edge.
Okay, I'm gonna go full screen on the, there we go.
So if I do single hits maybe.
There's obviously going to be, I'll say this now, there's going to be spill into the mic. So actually, why don't I mute the mics and then... And it does a little ripple as well.
Yeah.
Do that again.
Which is
that's cool.
Which is and you can change the speed of the ripple and
really
it's if you need that visual feedback. I met someone earlier today and we were looking at it and it was kind of like, if you're doing like raindrop sounds with a delay, then the speed of the ripple could actually give you some feedback if your monitoring isn't that great or something, to be able to,
you know what, it's just kind of set something off in my head, like you know, what if that, like when you are in the performance or the creative zone, as it were, that you do get that kind of almost augmented inspirational visual feedback from something that kind of like elevates the whole thing for you, like, you know, rather than setting up piano, you know, the piano does funny lights or something. But this is like, I mean, that's such an interesting idea that you sort of like, because at first I was just like, I thought it was the webcam screwing up. But like, I was like, no, there's a ripple on there. And then when you said, oh, you can change the ripple time, I was like, well, that's interesting. So you can customize the ripple. But yeah, like, I mean, who's to say that like music can't be like creating music, can't provide visual stimulus for you as the performer as well as an audio one. That's like really, I mean, like, you know, you kind of get that a little bit with the push and the launch pad and other things that blink, but they just blink. It's more just kind of telling you it's on, it's off, you know, but to have that kind of like bit of like visual aftertouch, you know, is sort of kind of interesting.
It is interesting, but I mean, it's still like, I mean, I'm not sure because it's cool that you can do it, and there are nice ideas for how to implement it, and it will make you make music different maybe.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's kind of like for some people it might just be a bit too much.
It might be a bit much. Yeah, I mean, like
you know,
you might want to turn it off. Yeah.
So
it's sort of like, I mean, it could be like it's sort of you're making music and the screensaver's going off in your face.
Exactly.
But like I'm feeling more optimistic about that. Like it could sort of like kind of ascribe a new form of identity to your music. Like if you're kind of one of those people, I'm a little bit like that. Sometimes I see colors when I hear certain sounds, certain you know, and also like certain environments or whatever, you know, so like, you know, having your imagination stimulated when you're doing music is kind of what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
So to have like something there to kind of give you a bit of a hand visually is quite interesting.
No, I mean, there are so many cool aspects here. Just imagine you're playing in a, don't know, top 40 cover band and you don't know which tune is happening, where you could just like program some visual feedback. Like, okay, this is now song one, or I mean, if you need stuff like this, or if you're doing experimental stuff as well, you can know like, okay, you are now in this template where you have set up stuff differently, and this could change automatically, or by a different performer you're playing with changing stuff. Going to different parts. So visual feedback is always, because I don't really like watching on the computer screen when I'm performing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I want to look into the audience, or I just want to connect with the audience.
Or your own brain, like me.
Yeah.
Look into my own mind. But yeah, I totally agree.
You know,
that's kind of the ultimate goal, really, isn't it? Is that like, I think we all kind of, I don't want to, you know, give up the computer, but I don't want to, you know, focus on it in a performance. I kind of want it running in the background doing its job as expected. But, you know, I think there's always going to be like an element of sort of, for me anyway, there's always going to be a little bit of element of like anxiety of like, is it working? I just need to check. Look at the screen and check it's working. Oh, it's fine. You know, it's the push is the push does a great job of that.
Of it, yeah.
But I still think there are a few more steps to go before we can really ditch visual feedback from the computer. Yeah.
It's, I mean, just sometimes if you don't have a click track running, and it's maybe you're waiting for the count in or something, and you press play and you're like, nothing is happening.
Yeah.
So just a red light, like
like on.
So
yeah.
You could put this up here, you know, this button could like light up, for example. If and yeah, there are still a few things I have not really worked out properly, because sometimes the MIDI feedback from Ableton, the stuff you can send out via the remote, is sometimes picking up, sometimes not. So do you know what I mean?
What, sending MIDI in and then back out again? Or?
Yeah, if you, like, for example, if you have a controller, let me have a look on which one is that. it should be on this one. So I just skipped we're gonna come back to that. I have this one.
Oh, suddenly the resolution is... Oh, for a second, for less than a second, the resolution was amazing. Now it's gone back to
So I'm just gonna reload.
N64.
Just gonna reload. So, for example, you can't see that, but now, oh, my desktop is so messy. Gonna hide it with this
Oh
one.
my God, I thought mine was messy.
Okay, so the master fader here is being controlled. Can you see this fader in the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, nice.
So I have to say that I'm not like, because you have to press really.
Oh right,
strong
yeah. I
to
mean,
get-
I can even hear.
You know,
I can hear it.
I'm
from
tapping
here.
it here, and that's good because you don't want a fader to jump up here.
No, not at all.
But you know, it's like it would be nice to be able to change the sensitivity.
Sensitivity, yeah.
Sensitivity,
From the right. So is that not an option right now?
Not now.
Like touch sensitivity.
Yeah,
I guess.
Maybe I missed something, but I'm like, I read the manual, it didn't show up yet.
Maybe the company will see this and hop in the comments and confirm this at a later date.
If anyone knows it, please share. So what I mentioned was like the feedback. So if I'm now moving the fader via mouse, you know, and that's like what I'm talking about.
I get what you mean
visual
now.
Feedback.
Yeah.
And with some buttons, this works great. With some buttons, this not all is always working. Sometimes you need to make sure that like your controller is set to a toggle mode. So when you have a button and stuff, and it's so the integration here is not like 100% that now there yet. So I couldn't get every button to talk in both directions right.
Yeah. But it's early days, right? For this.
Yeah.
I mean, is it even commercially out, or is it only you've got to have done the Kickstarter?
Kind of. They have. I saw 25 units were available around a week ago.
Right.
And
so
it goes
it's pretty fresh.
For we could look it up, but it goes for 750 euros, I think. I don't want to say something wrong. So it is a bit of money, but if you compare it to other eDrum controllers or ePad drum controllers, it's kind of like the price range. Things are going.
I think the so I know that Roland do a lot of these pads that are like 8x8, 2 rows of 8 maybe, or 2 rows of 3 or something. And they're about 500 pounds, I think.
Yeah, 400 or
500?
600 euros, I would say. The
so
SPS6 is 9 pads, and that's like the most used thing on stage.
So it's kind of not too far out of the market in that sense.
If you just look on the drum market, it's not. And this thing is much more than just a drum controller. So,
you're kind of you're a drummer, and so you're probably your interest is towards hitting it with sticks.
yes.
And you mentioned earlier that maybe that wasn't necessarily their intention. That was something that they realized afterwards. It's like, oh, it's actually strong enough that you can hit it with a stick, and actually it makes for a good drum pad solution. But I mean, do you think that is what they might market it? Whether they'll specifically market it to drummers, or it's just so broad that like maybe a keyboard player could get into it, as well. Or a finger drummer, or like beat people, or
I think drummers, finger drummers, keyboard players. I'm not sure, because if you look at a keyboard, it's not really that nice to play if you want to play chords. It's great for melodies. So here I have one, and so if you just take the vibraphone here, So I'm just playing 4 notes. I wouldn't be able to play this.
Okay, so can you make the keyboard smaller so that it fits more to your
Nope.
hand span?
I can. You can change the
The amount of octaves.
the amount of keys and the length. So let me just quickly grab it into the editor.
So you're not going to get like you're not going to be able to do like shred monosynth solos on it because
really.
the size is.
I can shrink it like this way, which is like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't really.
I mean, I think that I'm also no keyboard player, but I'd imagine that someone who was a keyboard player, piano player, who's used to those dimensions, even though like maybe they can go to mini keys, okay.
Yeah.
If they're trained, if they've learnt on a proper key bed, as it were, they're expecting things to be a certain distance and a certain size and a certain feel.
Yeah.
That like if they have to go further, it would be like playing a guitar and the frets are like twice the distance from each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just you can't play a chord. Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, there are very different musicians or group of musicians who could be interested in using this, and just maybe even games developers or sound design, especially because of all this.
Yeah.
You can build your own instruments here.
Like gestural sound design and performance.
Yeah.
Like drumming, hitting it with sticks. I think using it to trigger stuff would be really good. I'd certainly be interested to, what you could do with it as just a MIDI controller, like a bespoke custom MIDI controller. So I'm guessing you could probably have something in the lines of like on one side you could have 16 pads. On the other side you could have like either an XY or faders or something to tweak the.
Yeah. That's exactly what you can do.
That's sort of starts to get quite exciting, I think.
So let's say, what was your example? You got like around 16 pads. Let's take this one.
I'm just going to go and get another beer. You all right for a beer?
I'm all right.
Okay.
Maybe? Yeah.
You carry on though.
Cool. So yeah, so just to show the stream here, you can see I'm in live editing mode, which I can activate. So I can actually see while I'm editing in the editor on the Erae Touch what I'm actually doing here and if it fits to my needs. And so let's say we got like don't know, 16 pads here, maybe playing some drums here, playing a melody here, and then maybe having a few faders. That's like a 3D fader, so an XY fader or XY. And this is kind of like what Ned just mentioned.
Oh wow, you've done that really quick. I was only gone.
I'm confused now if I should call you Ned or Duncan.
You can call me whatever you want.
Right. Dunk.
I respond.
You need.
That's fine. Yeah.
Dunk.
That's what my family calls me.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know what else do we need. Like a button to switch stuff on and off, and then duplicate it, give it different colors, obviously, and then all those extras with like, should it do a ripple when you click it, or so same MIDI notes. So
oh, that's cool. Yeah. I can sort of see that. What's kind of like the smallest amount of space that an object can occupy in the pad? Is it like, it looks like 3x3? So I'm guessing
four dots.
So you can go quite small.
Yeah, you could actually. Let's do this like this. So I could have like 4 LEDs in here, and then
Yeah, because sometimes you just need a button to just. What's going on there? Oh,
So you could have 1, 2, 3,
So now
4,
we're
5,
now
6,
we're
7,
like
8,
mono
9,
territory.
10, you know, so there is
64? That's 6. No, that's 32. I
1,
can't
2, 3,
count.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
21. All right. That's pretty good.
But there is a limit of objects you can add. I'm not sure if that's gonna be changed or because that's just like...
So you couldn't fill up a bank of 21 by, I don't know, 18 LEDs.
No, there was something like 36 objects. Or I have to... Someone wrote it in the Facebook group. Can I duplicate those? No. But yeah, probably if we add more of those, the message will show up.
Hang on, I just need to tell the group that it's Duncan with a C. It's not with a K.
So what's happening in the chat?
Let's have a look, shall we?
Yes.
I just need to go back a little bit. Is that an iPad? No. To adjust the sensitivity, the manual talks about it in the calibration section. I can help but look this stuff up. See what else.
Awesome.
Not sure I'd want to use this with sticks. Much more interested in finger and hand drumming. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what's good about it, isn't it? Is that, I mean, it does seem a bit strange, but I mean, I haven't even touched it yet. I'm just going to touch it.
Touch it. Should I put
It
some?
is really hard. It is. Yeah. I mean, it's. I think it can handle it. So turn it into a touch sensitive mono. Well, you know what? When you were building that kind of template thing, I was sort of thinking, you know, where do we go from there in terms of like using it as an interface for a custom made sequencer that you've made, perhaps in Max MSP or something like that. And so, I mean, we're kind of focusing on Ableton right now, but why is that a higher resolution than Ableton? That's kind of weird.
Maybe if I change the resolution in Ableton.
We've been having all kinds of problems trying to set this up. We've tried everything. We've tried so many combinations. This was the best that we could do. But yeah, so I mean, we've been focusing on Ableton so far, and I know that you're a big Max guy as well. So I guess that there's potential there for building a custom interface to work with your custom made sequencer. I don't know much about the monome. I'm not a monome person. I don't know. I know there's a big community, but
there is a sequencer on here.
Is there?
Yeah.
What, built into it?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Shit.
Unless you had something else you wanted to do.
No, I do have something else I wanted to do, but I haven't looked it up properly. Proper. So, first of all, these are the maximum number of elements reached now. So,
21. Well, that was 2 rows of 20. 50? No, that's 45.
It's already. It's not going away because I duplicated too much. Yeah, whatever. Let's close this down.
Oh, well, you've got to glitch everything out at some stage, haven't you?
Interesting. So now it's cool. So yeah, but I mean what do I want to do going into the step sequencer? There's a template on here, isn't it? Let's take a different instrument. I'm not sure if I can really show this. No, I can't. I just realized I have no clue. So, no, I can't. Would need to look it up myself.
So this, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the comments. So
these are MIDI notes being sent.
That sounds pretty good. Is that just what is that?
Vibraphone.
Vibraphone. Is that in Ableton?
Yeah, stock library.
There's a vibraphone in Ableton. Oh,
Yes.
you know what there is? Is that from the orchestral? Oh no, this looks different.
Let's have a look.
I quite like vibraphones.
In orchestral melodies.
Oh yeah, I've got that. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been a while since I don't have them installed at the moment. But
Right.
when I got them, I just went nuts. All I was doing was just making classical music and jazz.
Yeah. Obviously.
It's just like
5 tone, 12 tone.
It's like so good.
So this is a step sequencer. I don't know where to start it or stop it because I'm the DAW guy.
Yeah.
I just go for.
Do you have to
the stuff.
set the sync up in Ableton to tell it to send MIDI back, MIDI clock info?
Let's try it. But I mean, it should play, and I don't know how to even play it, and nothing's happening. Just I can change the view here. So obviously you can see 16 steps. So I can change the steps here. External, getting the external tempo. So maybe if we send the tempo MIDI clock from Ableton, let's give it a try. So if we send it to...
You send sync, don't you?
Yeah. Put on sync. So now let's put this off. Let's see. Something's happening here. Yeah. So it's getting the tempo. But I don't know how to start it. Should be somehow running, I guess, but as MIDI is being received.
Well, it's flashing. Something's flashing.
Yeah, that's a MIDI clock or the tempo, like the metronome here. So if I
it's
turn
clocking.
the metronome down, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm coming back in 4 weeks.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. We can move on to another topic. So,
but I mean, obviously, for people who are using MIDI synths without a DAW, this is another really important thing. If you can plug it into your Euro rack and you don't need a computer, you can run.
how is it connecting? So what? What's the I/O?
Okay, you have.
Whoopsie.
Watch out for the beer.
Watch out for the beer. Got laptops everywhere.
This is exactly dangerous. Okay, so you got USB-C coming out, which can be used obviously as USB-C or USB-B. And you got power, and you got a mini jack to 5-pin.
Oh,
MIDI.
right. Mini jack MIDI. Yeah.
Mini
Okay.
jack MIDI. Yeah. The adapter is provided. And that's something what I really liked about, or what I really like about the company. You order it and it comes with a bag.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly grab it because.
Okay, get the bag. The bag's important. We have to see the bag.
No, it's just one of those things which was really pissing me off from bigger companies. You're paying a lot of money for stuff. And then it arrives, and then it even doesn't have like a power plug sometimes.
Yeah, well, yeah, certainly. I mean,
You know, which is I don't know. And so
actually, when I bought this mixer, it didn't even come with a USB 3 lead. I had to buy one, I think.
okay,
I was like, oh,
right.
at least I think so. I seem to remember
Rock
when I was plugging
advertising.
this in, I was like, yeah, I seem to remember having a memory of it not coming with the
Right.
USB lead.
I just want to send out some props to the company that it's coming with a sleeve.
Yeah.
It's coming with a labeled power plug, what I really like, because
Yeah, right.
you have so many power plugs and you can easily F up your equipment by just connecting the wrong power plug.
Yeah, oh yeah, completely.
So you have to label your power plugs.
And so it needs power then, does it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm guessing because you have so many lights,
lights.
stuff happening here that you will need some. I think it's 15 volt even.
It's the same with the. I just recently got a Novation SL Mark III, which my SL Mark II Mark 1 is just down there, but I decided to get the Mark III, and it's just LED city.
Okay.
It's just you turn it on and everything lights up, and they were saying, yeah, we can't bus power this
Okay.
if you want those LEDs. And sometimes I don't need LEDs.
Yeah.
But I mean, for something like this that I could see, particularly in a dark environment, is like really, really, really good.
Yeah.
You buy like a black MIDI controller with no LEDs on it. How are you going to use that in the dark? You can't.
You're lost. Definitely. Yeah. I'm not sure.
So I think I need to respond to a comment because someone has said a couple of times now, can you play it with your hands like congas?
Ah, yeah. Let's find some congas. I mean, to be honest, let's do it with some drum sounds here. Which is, sorry, that was wrong. Drum sounds are on here. A bit quiet probably. I'm gonna push it a little. So when you listen closely, I'm getting some double triggers here. Sometimes. So, and yeah. I'm using 2 fingers now, and I'm not getting the first one up fast enough. And now I'm getting some double triggers here. I'm not sure if there is some more calibration I can do, and if there is some sensitivity settings, I should look into that for that reason. But I'm not a finger drummer, so I can't say.
You're an actual drummer.
If that's, I mean, that sounds shit, obviously, because like one sample only.
I think, yeah. I mean, sometimes when you do a bit of finger drumming, actually, you don't want any velocity. You just want to trigger a thing.
Yeah. Which you obviously can just turn off and Ableton in the sampler or whatever. But congas, I think the question is more like, okay, so if you really get like bigger,
it's more like the whole surface is just the instrument.
So I would like, I mean, interesting idea. But because like you could get the position of where you play to do different things. That was what I wanted to show you initially. So let's come back to that. So I don't know how to answer that with conga stuff. I mean, it's nice to play with your hands, with your fingers and stuff. But if you're with congas, I mean, I guess the question is, can you get different sounds with it, playing it with the palm or with your fingers? And the answer would be not really.
Yeah, so that's kind of like proximity pressure sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
So like rather than kind of like having a single sensor and it working in conjunction with a neighboring sensor, when you do like that down tune thing or the up tune thing with a drum like that, you're applying pressure to multiple spaces, not a single space. So you could probably I'd imagine that you could do it on one designated area in the controller. So if you've got like a square and the pressure, but to have that from like multiple sensors, I don't know. I don't even know how this thing works.
I mean, I tried it with do you know the Bob pad from Macmillan? It's like a circle, very similar FSR as well.
I don't know. I mean, it's like Keith Macmillan. Yeah. I mean, I've obviously seen a lot of his things, but I've not. I've a bit out of touch. I did actually see recently that he's just put out some sort of mixer type touch surface.
Yeah, but that's been around for a little while.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. That just shows how up to date I am. Welcome to my music tech channel, where I don't know anything about music tech.
Trying to retrieve the right layout here. Where is it? Because I'm on the Alt button. So, I mean, the idea could be for, let's do this in live. If you would say you got like one, you could use this area. Can you see this in the camera?
Yeah.
If you use this area for your palm and then send an info on to your sound engine, like now only play damped notes or damped samples.
So what note does it respond to? So you've essentially set up two objects there.
Okay.
So is that two separate CCs or two separate notes?
Whatever I want to.
Yes, you choose that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just choose different notes. No, the idea was like maybe I do it in the camera. If you have, if you hit a conga or any drum, and if you just hit it, it can ring.
Yeah.
Like, and if you like on the conga, especially if you have your hands on and you just want to have like shorter.
Yeah. You kind of mute it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was just my idea to say, like, well, actually, yeah, you can have those zones on the pad, which are kind of giving your sound engine the signal. Now I'm in damp mode with the CC signal, and then just only trigger damped.
Yeah. So it's kind of like no, it's not like a choke. I was going to say it's like a choke, but not quite really.
No, not a choke. Just like a, yeah.
So that's kind of like sticking with this part of your hand, the palm, let's say the palm and the finger, then that's more like kind of saying with the palm message, gate this sound, and when it's off, let the other one through. Kind of. Can you see where I'm going? So it's kind of like you've got a sample of your muted conga and a sample of your unmuted conga.
Yeah, exactly.
And the palm switches.
Yeah.
Does the switch.
Yeah.
But then you would need to, I mean, you could probably do that in Ableton.
Yeah,
but
easy.
It would. So, I mean, I'm guessing that you've got two, in the bottom right-hand corner there, you've got two controllers now.
Yes.
So can you tell one to be a CC and one to be a note?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I've done stuff, or you can do it with pressure as well. So you could do the pitch. I tried to do it for the bob pad for tabla.
Right.
But on the tabla, you're not only like dampening, but you're like tuning.
Yeah.
You know, like how high the pitch should be from the drum you're playing. So
so maybe you
because you have this aftertouch pressure, you could use this to tune the other MIDI note you're playing.
Yeah, you could. Or I was thinking that it could send a CC to switch a chain of samples to something else. So like you're almost pressing with the palm and hitting with the finger, but the pressure is choosing the selected sample.
Yeah,
that could work.
Yeah, I mean, and the cool thing is in the sampler you already have this like, maybe move this in the front. You have this in the sampler device. Let's get an empty sampler.
Yeah, in sampler you can you've got sample selection, haven't you?
You have the select this thing here. Yeah. So if you have like the multi-mic drum kit selection from the session drums and multi-layered stuff, this one is actually doing the picking random samples so that you don't get the same sample all the time.
Also, you don't need to map that either because you can assign MIDI to that, and you could probably assign MPE. So if you go to the MIDI tab on the end,
it's done now. Controlling it. Really bad now because it's a.
Oh yeah, no, I see it doing it. Yeah.
Pushing the surface here. It's doing this.
That's kind of fun, yeah. So you're and like with one hand, you've kind of got quite a lot of sonic playground there.
Yeah.
Just like you've used, the palm is selecting the sample and the finger is triggering it. That's kind of cool.
Plus,
that could be, and with two hands.
You could have even the position where your palm is sitting. So,
yeah.
Whoa, interesting. But yeah, not sure. But I mean, to give you one example, which could be easier, maybe a bit easier to understand as well if people are not following already, probably.
Oh, the resolution's gone good. and then it's gone bad again.
Should we try this to put this in 100%? If you go to look and feel, but then it's too small.
That's much worse.
Let's put it back. There we go. Back again.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so first example I wanted to make. So this one needs to go. Let's go back and okay. So we got initially addictive drums, sample, and you can hear when I'm going closer to the edge.
Okay, yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. That's like a snare. That's how a snare works. If you hit nearer the rim, you get more ring.
Yeah.
And if you go to the center, you get wow.
Yeah.
Do that again. I know. I mean, we are in the same room, but he's at the other end of the table, and I'm looking at what he's doing on my computer screen. All right, let's have a go. No, you stay where you are. It's fine.
Right. Six.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's still
good.
it's a different thing than like playing a 3-sensor Roland digital 2,000 euro snare drum.
Yeah.
Obviously, but it's just like one practical example for the discussion we just had. Yeah, you can apply stuff like the X and Y position, which is sending a MIDI CC, which you can see on the screen because I'm getting 2 MIDI CC signals here and I had to map it to 1, so I wrote this Max for Live plugin. So I'm getting in 60 and I'm getting in 61. One is X, one is Y, and they're both sending out CC 60. And this information is being sent to the Addictive Drums plugin here to say, okay, if you're
is that because that those are the CCs that Addictive Drums needs?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, you have like these kind of like standard CC messages. You know, so like CC1 is mod wheel or pitch bend. You know, the first two are always mod wheel and pitch bend or whatever. So you've worked out that those are the CCs it needs.
It's actually in Addictive Drums you got a MIDI map where you can actually put in which it should be. Don't get me started where it is. It should be in here, map window. Yeah, so got the snare and I have snare CC position, and you can learn it. You can press learn and then it will detect which MIDI CC is coming in, so you can apply it there. I don't know if it was 60 in the beginning, but depending on your drum module, etc., you can maybe do stuff here as well. But yeah, it's to be honest, it's just one example to show like what's possible. I'm not sure if I would use it, and it's snare drum is always a good example to see like, are rolls working? How is the rebound from the pads?
Yeah, because that's important, isn't it? As a drummer, like it's the spring back, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever used any of the Roland stuff, but I don't know what are they like in comparison to like an acoustic snare.
It's
the spring back.
It's I mean they are using mesh heads now, or it's become pretty much the standard to use mesh heads, which are like just nylon fabric. And there are even some which are like 3 coats of nylon fabric, and it feels great. And it's like sometimes you're sitting at a really high class, expensive e-drum kit in a store, and it scary because it feels so
The same.
Nah,
Nearly.
it's like it's crazy because you're having this huge, big, fat drum sound on your headphones.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa! You know, it's scary. Yeah.
But and how's this in comparison?
How's it's a different thing. I wouldn't compare it because it's not a mesh head. It's a rubber surface, and I would say maybe for acoustic sounds, maybe not the best solution. If you wanna, if we're talking like high professional level,
Like hyper sampled snare drums.
like really like, I mean, if you're playing in a rock band and you want a fully great snare sound, just use a snare.
Yeah.
So, but if you're playing in an electro act, or you got a live electronic performance act, and you need like for 4 bars, you need like a really nice snare. If you need just that, then don't bring a snare drum. Just
That didn't sound bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that. I mean, I'm getting spill from the microphones, but I can hear it in the headphones, and
it's okay.
it sounds like enough articulation to make it passable.
Yeah. I just want to be honest about it because like drummers are really like, I want it to feel like a real acoustic drum. I want it to sound like a real acoustic drum. And it's kind of like, well, then go for an acoustic drum. But if you just want to trigger stuff and may have a good feeling on playing, then it's definitely a good thing. And
I think probably like also the snare drum is where, so you're a drummer, you can answer this question. The snare drum is where the most desirable amount of articulation is.
Yeah.
Like the kick drum, maybe not so much.
Compared to it.
Maybe like the hi-hats, maybe not so much. I would say maybe a ride cymbal next. Like I've got a ride cymbal, and even though it does one thing, I've played around with it, and I can find lots of sounds on it, depending on how I hit it. And even, I mean, you can bow them and stuff and all that kind of thing. Yeah. But like crash cymbals, toms, they probably strike me as being kind of like, well, I expect something. But whereas the snare is kind of like, I just think there's so much like possibilities from a snare drum, like sonically. But what would you say to that as a drummer?
I would agree to snare drum, kick, and cymbal, right cymbal. I wouldn't agree that the hi-hat, you got so much expression on the hi-hat if you play it with the tip, or if you play it with the shaft, or if it's like just a little bit open, or if it's half open, or like I do a lot of with like articulation with just the openness. The openness of the hi-hat.
So. Actually, thinking about it now, like you go and watch like some old Buddy Rich videos. Yeah. And he's all over that hi-hat. Yeah. He's like doing all kinds of things. So yeah, actually, maybe I'm wrong.
And it always depends on the style of what you're playing. And we're not saying like it's like this or it's like that. It's always depends on what kind of music you play. If you're just, if you're playing in a full-on speed metal band,
which is like all or nothing.
It's kind of like you want the snare to sound like
yeah.
You don't want this articulation here, so
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
velocity curve editor. Do you know this?
No.
I mean,
did you make this?
Yeah, there's this velocity device from Ableton MIDI device, but I thought it's lacking of a monitor. And what I really like about this device is you get a monitor, so you get the in value, which is green. Oh. So how hard and you get the curve, which is editable, like this, for example.
I'm a little bit confused with velocity curve.
Okay.
I don't think I understand it.
Okay.
why it's so? Because I would think is it the okay, maybe I do. So it's the relationship between how much velocity actually comes out
Yes.
based around how much you actually put in. Yeah?
Yeah, it's just scaling your incoming velocity to a different output.
Yeah. So like if you're hitting a key or a pad at like 32, it might, based on the curve, scale that up to like 50 or 60.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I get it now. Yeah.
And that's especially with drums and electronic drum pads usually have like a few curves to pick from.
Yeah, they've got it on the push, and I was just like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
get this.
Yeah.
So I just left it at like a straight line.
And just for this sound, I felt like I'm not playing very hard, but it's already quite up. Like
Yeah, you're
quite high
getting
values.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So with the velocity curve editor, you could, like, if you press the option key, you can move this here, or you can even add more points, you know. And then if you need to for some sounds, it's interesting, but like not for this example. So let's reset it and go back. You can add up as many points as you want, but the most exciting or the most useful thing here really is like getting the in and out being seen. So you know,
Keep doing that. I'll turn the faders down. Go on, do it again. Yeah, that's quite good. So, I mean, I guess it kind of puts you in a bit, it gives you a little bit of flexibility to sort of say, if I don't hit this too hard, then it's going to sound hard.
yeah. No, it's for drummers. This for drummers, this is like how your velocity is being translated.
Yeah,
It's
and
one of the
everyone's
most
going to have
important
different. Everyone's going to have a different feel.
Exactly.
And so, like, you can't expect an instrument maker to anticipate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at the comments. Is people still there? We've got a nice, crunchy, consistent 26 viewers now. How's my stream health doing?
Wow.
This is you know what? I'm so pleased. This is the longest I've not had any stream health updates in a live stream. I've only had 2 updates, which means that it's going okay.
Okay, cool.
Because normally it's like one every minute. So, all right, what we got here? Pitch bend isn't CC. The second CC is breath control. Oh, well, there you go then. You can pull a lot of sounds out. You can pull a lot of sounds out of a hi-hat. I think it meant out of a hi-hat. Agreed on the hi-hat. The pedal is... Oh, yeah, the pedal, completely. I didn't even think about the pedal. You can just get a huge amount from just the pedal. Just tapping the pedal. Yeah. Okay, what else we got here? It looks like you're sending the video to Zoom and then back again. So the webcam is on the bottom right, is in real time, but the Zoom quality is delayed by 15 seconds. Shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when we stop the video, we need to remember to keep it 15 minutes.
We're gonna
15
need
seconds.
Yeah.
Running. So
otherwise, we're gonna
can watch the end.
Yeah, right. No, this is actually quite a challenging setup. So Toby is actually screen sharing his Ableton down Zoom to my computer, where I have the mics and the music plugged in, and the webcam. Hence why his Ableton is 15 seconds. We only counted it at 2 earlier. It's a bit weird. But yeah, so this is a very hokey production. But anyway, hopefully you're all still pretty amused. Velocity curve is definitely important depending on the electronic drum style. There you go. Okay, so how are you for a beer? You okay? Mine's coming near the end.
Yeah. Let's get some more in a sec.
So I guess one thing
one
Oh.
important
Go on.
thing. If there are drummers watching, so you get, there are 4 holes in here.
Ah, okay.
So
yeah,
you
maybe I can't quite see. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Even the screws are provided, which is wow. I like detail. And
That's good.
you
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
get
yeah.
one of those yourself, which is like the standard for SPDSX stuff from Roland, or the Drumcat stuff would fit as well. And then you can screw it on there and put it on a stand.
What kind of stand?
Like a clamp, which you can then clamp to a cymbal stand, for example, or
Yeah.
not a mic stand, but like anything drum related would work with a clamp. Yeah, and there are special clamps for it, even from Roland and stuff. So you can, So just to show you the.
So there's like a standard. There's a standard clamp for non-acoustic drums.
It's because the Roland stuff is used so much, you can call it a standard, but it's actually you wouldn't get problems to find this online too.
Yeah.
And this is a plastic version, there's a metal version as well, and I was really surprised that actually the not getting any crosstalk or anything when I mounted this, because on this it's obviously got a different surface, but you would still be able to play it quite well and not getting any crosstalks or false triggering.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised. I was expecting it to be a bit more, not a bit wobbly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Cool. Sorry, you wanted to say something.
No. I was thinking that what if we could. I was because it's obviously very, very flexible and open to customization. I was sort of just trying to think of an idea, and I was just thinking, like, what if like the whole thing is just like a kind of touch keyboard, but rather than it being notes, it's just like, here we've got like one MIDI note, and then up here we've got a high MIDI note, and you just slide in between.
Right.
And then maybe, so again, I'm thinking more XY, but because we've got pressure as well, there's some other things there. So like, you can go up and down in pitch on the X axis, and maybe some other message on the Y axis, and something on the pressure, and how that would work with maybe like multiple fingers or something.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, we can't really, I don't know. Have a think about that whilst I get a beer. Are you all right for a beer?
I would like another one. Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll get some more.
Yay.
you hold the fort for a bit. I'll be back.
It's so good to be hosted by Dunk. It's like I even got a ride from the train station. Yay! And then he was driving me around Southampton. So there are so many different signals you could send, and I'm gonna show this to Ned in a second as well. But you not only have like X and Y of one object, you can have X and Y of every single object here as well. So just started to think, because you have like even more X and Y controller values you could send, like X and Y from each object, but X and Y from I'm not 100% sure here, from the whole surface or from the starting point. So if you have like relative to a different point, but I have to look it up. I'm not sure. I've just remembered that there is not only like one-dimensional X and Y, there is X and Y relative to some other positions here as well.
Okay.
Just wanted to throw that in. It's just so much information, but you can see here you have control change, pressure, X abs and Y abs. Absolute, and you have X relative and Y relative.
Oh, right. I wonder what that could be.
Let's have a look.
Relative
to manual time. Yeah.
So I mean, so X absolute and Y absolute must just mean that is zero upwards.
I get you. Okay.
So like bipolar and unipolar.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or normalized and sign normalized.
And this one is relative to, and you can set an initial value, so it would always start at 63 anywhere you touch, and then if you move to the left, it would go down towards 0 from this point.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, because MIDI, well, if it's working in MIDI, yeah, then it's probably always going to be ranges from 0 to 127.
Yeah.
Not like -1 to 1. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But including the pressure, yeah. Including the pressure.
Yeah. And pitch bend is 16,335 or something.
What?
Yeah.
What's that?
Because pitch bend is
the resolution.
Yeah. It's 14 bits, so you get like 128 x 128.
Oh, right. I did not know that. Has it always been like that?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I don't know if it's has been always been like that, but always things to learn. Pitch, yeah, I mean, you get 16,000, over 16,000 values.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was all 0 to 127.
It depends on how you use it and stuff, and what your controller is capable to do, but that is this whole NRPN stuff where you can send MSB, LSB.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So have you done anything with it with Max for Live or Max MSP yet?
Yes, but just really simple stuff. I made this. Oops, where is it? It should be on here. I just made a simple layout selector.
All right. Okay.
Which is funny because it's just where is it?
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I can see that bit. I mean, you know, I've seen clips of what you do, and so you know, it would be good to talk about that as well. But I'd imagine that there is probably a lot of using MIDI to change instruments or change a chord or perhaps like change a melody or something. I know that you basically kind of make your own software to kind of do that for you.
Yeah.
So I've seen that sequencer that you make, which is kind of like it advances through the steps each time you hit the hit the thing or whatever. So I can kind of like see that there's possibilities there for you to not just like use it expressively, but use it in a very utilitarian way of like, I need to get from here to here right now.
I mean, it's early days, so and I haven't had like the perfect creative idea yet. So what was really because I did like a lot of those just kit selectors just for communicating between hardware and software, especially for drummers. So I did one for this here as well, so you can actually access the different layouts via a menu. So you have those 16 slots. Each slot can have 2 different layouts, so it's 16 and 16 alt. So if I switch now, it's changing this, and you can change the name of the menu and stuff. And so this is just for automating, which is nice if you have like a different if you need a different layout during a song. You can go to layer menu and say, okay, I will need layout number 1, and then later on I need layout number 14.
Oh, okay. And so you would put that into like a clip or a scene or something, so that as you're playing through a track and you've triggered that clip, it will switch to the new layout.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, you can send program changes via MIDI clips, but only at the beginning of a MIDI clip, but you can't like native in Ableton Live, you can't send a program change. You need Max for Live for it.
Oh.
If it's not at the beginning of the clip. So just to take this example here, you want to change the layout like half of the bar, which let's say this would be like, don't know, 40 bars, and then after 40 bars you want to change. So you can't do this native in Ableton Live. You will need Max for Live to send a program change, to my knowledge.
Just to that controller, or just to anything?
Just to send like via a MIDI clip, because you have like in the section down here.
I have a feeling that this has been a conversation for some years about sending program. I mean, I've never ever done a program change in my life, so I can't like. I've been a software person for 20 years. I've never tried to send a program change from a DAW to a piece of hardware.
Right.
I mean, I don't think I even know what it is. Would that be like just changing a preset?
Yeah, well, it depends on what your hardware is programmed to do with this program change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, you get like those program changes here, and you have like bank and sub bank, and you can put stuff in here, and you can this info here. So, for example, bank 18, sub bank 17, program change 24.
Oh, I think I've got what you've meant now.
Will be sent as soon as you start this clip.
Could you not just do a follow action?
Yes,
from one
but then
clip to another.
But then you need like, I mean, if you have like 30 songs and you have like maybe 2 scenes or 1 to 2 scenes for each song, and then just for changing stuff you need a second scene where you put in a follow.
Or what about if you put it in the arranged view, 2 clips, that's got one program change, this has got another program change, consolidate them.
Yeah.
Put it back into the session view. Does it not work?
No.
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, interesting idea, but yeah. But because I'm not even sure if you like, what does it look like if you have it on here? If you have stuff,
I have a feeling.
here.
Oh, the resolution's gone good. The resolution's good.
What?
Stay like that. Stay like that.
So we just
an hour and a half into the stream, the resolution gets good.
So let's do this.
Oh, now it's gone bad again. Oh, now it's all right. Oh, this is challenging work, setting this up for you viewers. Did it do it?
Consolidate.
I think maybe it probably won't do it.
And
but the thing. Oh,
it's all going back to the first message. I mean, I'm happy because I got Max for Live, and I can do those plugins, and people just can use those and send me a few bucks. So this.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what Max for Live is all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that like sometimes I like Ableton very much, as you can probably tell from my YouTube channel, because most of my videos are about it. But I sometimes think that like Max for Live is always kind of like you go and sort it out. We can't be bothered. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
But it is sort of like you go and do what you want. Go and do what you want with this program. We're just going to concentrate on what we care about. If you want that in there, go and make it, or find someone who can make it for you. And that's all right.
I mean, it's so clever as a company to say like, well, here is this open thing. Please develop our software for free.
Yeah, it's a little bit like kind of getting the keys to the back door, almost, isn't it? It's sort of like, here you go. We'll let you in. Just don't screw anything up. And obviously, loads of like good stuff's come out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's it's great that you're sort of approaching it. I like, in many ways, I think that your approach to it really is kind of in that ethos of what they were thinking, which was that like it's about extending the environment absolutely for your needs.
Yeah.
Like computer program DAWs don't have to be. You don't have to like submit yourself to their ideas. You can actually take it in any direction you want. A lot of other ones are kind of like, you have to do it our way or no way, and that's it.
Yeah.
But what they've kind of done here is sort of like, rather than kind of thinking, it's a very popular program and it's changed music it's changed electronic music pretty much, isn't it? But rather than kind of like dealing with this sort of, I'd imagine quite a lot of people going, can you make it do this? Can you make it do this? They've kind of gone, well, yeah, we could, but like we're concentrating on certain things. Here you go. We'll just give you the keys to the back. And you can do it yourself. And that's kind of what you've done. You sort of just, you've seen this opportunity to go, right, now I can make this work exactly how I want it without waiting for them to do it for me, you know? Yeah. And so you asked me in the car earlier how long I was doing Max. So I'm going to ask you now, what's your Max background?
I think it's 6 or 7 years now, so that must be 2014. Yeah, and I started with I think my Node 2 MIDI control change device. So depending on the velocity you play, you get a CC message value, and then I think around there.
Did it take you long to realize those ideas, or
yes, at the beginning it was pretty hard, and I got some help from Tim from Sound Manufacturer, who did the Push Hacker.
Oh, I don't know.
Is doing awesome stuff, like, and just the complexity of like UI stuff is amazing. What he's doing. So, you should check it out. Push Hacker 2 is out now. I mean, there's a huge amount of the Max for Live. Considering how much I'm really into it, I say this about everything. I'm really out of the loop with so much stuff. I don't think I've even logged on to maxforlive.com for about 5 years. I think I probably even forgot my login. Like, I mean, I'd imagine there's so much stuff on there right now, but but like, you know, I'm the same. I mean, for me, it's kind of like it's audio processing and video, you know. So I'm really right now. I'm just thinking like, no, I'm not going to get Resolume. I'm not going to get into Touch Designer because I can just make it work in Ableton, and I can get what I really want to do. I think what I want to do next is I want to get the audio processing and the video processing into one instrument. Wow.
So that if I've got like a beat coming in that's triggering something in the visuals, and I apply an audio effect to that beat, it applies a similar effect to the visuals. So it's more kind of like video synced DSP.
Right.
That's kind of where I want to go next. I don't know how long that will be, but like I kind of think like I think you know we're all kind of quite interested in audio reactive visuals. And there are so many different ways to approach that. Sometimes I think that actually audio reactive isn't the way to go, and really you just need something to happen the same time as an event. So if there's a kick drum, it doesn't have to be like a visual sonification of the kick drum. It can just be a big white square. Right. You know, it doesn't. It just needs to happen at the same time. But to sort of like think like, you know, if it, you know, there are lots of things that visuals have in common with audio. You can apply echo to video. You can downsample. You can downsample video. So that's kind of like you can apply echo to sound. You can downsample sound. So if you can combine the two into a single event in a performance, then that might make people go like, oh yeah, and it's quite simple to understand. The sound's gone, and the picture's gone as well. You know, so
Like our resolution.
like our resolution right now, our
We're using
N64.
now we're trying out NetRush's new plugin, Resolution Crunch.
It's called "How to Shit Your Stream Up."
Nice. Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's fine.
It reminds me, I bought the World Collection.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
It's kind of old now.
Oh, yeah, but it's like I bought it.
It's
like
very, very primitive.
I don't know. Must be like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we put it out, and it's very difficult to respond to technical tech support from that, because most of the people who've worked on it I haven't spoken to for
Right.
7 years or
Right.
whatever.
Okay.
But I think it was kind of like, it was a good concept to try and put out there. And there's loads of stuff now that's better, even though it's my own product. Well, it's a collection, it's a collaboration, but like there's like Ebo Suite, which is like pretty much Ableton but for video. And there's Show Sync, which we were talking about earlier, which like you can put clips in the session view and play them like you would clips and apply like effects to them and stuff. So it's, yeah. I mean, I think Ableton could be a great video performance tool as well. But again, it's that kind of thing of like, well, we've given you Max for Live, you have to kind of go and do it. And I'm thinking like, yeah, but why can't you make a standardized version of that? The video channel. You got the audio channel, the MIDI channel.
Yeah.
What if there's the video channel?
Wow.
And then you've got like video samplers or video MIDI. You know, they could do it, and people are doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, if they would do it, you couldn't do it.
Well, quite, yeah. I mean, that's it. That's kind of it, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like that's kind of. I mean, I'm starting to think that like maybe they're taking some Max for Live concepts and putting them into their instruments now. I'm pretty sure.
It looks like it because
like the LFO must have been like one of the first things that someone made, and now it's a standard thing.
There is so much stuff they added like to the core library, didn't they? Like just for audio effects.
There's like there are those drum synthesizer modules which I need to explore, because I've got to shoot a video about that.
Instruments like the poly, and there's some more stuff, and
yeah, some of them were I thought were just were stuff from the Max for Life website.
Yeah,
and now they're kind of included.
Yeah, and there are some devices are now included in the core library, even if you don't have Max for Life. Something weird like that. I'm not.
Yeah, they have kind of done that now, haven't they? I mean, I don't know, because I've had Max for Life for since it came out. So I'm, I've lost track. But yeah. So like, I'm just looking there. There's that drum synth library, which I know. I think maybe that was built specifically for. So yeah, I'm gonna be shooting a video using these in the next couple of weeks, and they're pretty cool. I like the UI.
Yeah.
I really like just simple like UIs, like not too much, and they do pretty good electronic. The FM one's quite good as well. You get some really interesting doinks out of that. If you're
Nice.
if you're a Eurorack user, I've always thought that this reminds me a little bit of the Dinky's Tycho by ALM Busy Circuits. It's a sort of like low bit rate FM drum thing. Kind of cool for
To have something to
electronic
map
music.
it, so it could be actually be mapped to. Let me think. No, wrong one. On 7. So if I map the pitch. No, sorry, it's just relative. That's the same here again. if I just would be able to select and maybe even enable and just like what kind of MIDI is going through or not. I got a CC block device here, but it's not. Yeah, because I just quickly wanted to map the position to the pitch.
Yeah.
And I can't do it quickly because if I just go on here and press something, I get CC 63. Even if I'm sending some more stuff in here.
So that's the...
I don't know.
That's the message that's on the left and right position.
It's...
It's kind of fun. Yeah.
Tune. Yeah.
Is that like, so that layout that you've got loaded right now, is that like a kind of layout that you've designed, or is that just one that's sort of baked into the unit?
No, that's one I designed just for the snare example, just to give it a try for the sensor missing word. Position.
Yeah.
Position sensing.
So do you have, I mean, we haven't really talked much about what you actually do. So for people who are familiar with me but not familiar with you, what exactly are you sort of up to generally? I mean, I know that right now you're on a bit of a UK road trip, going to Bristol tomorrow.
Yay.
Where you used to live for a bit, but now you live in Germany. But like, yeah. So what are you doing like with music generally?
Well, I do Max for Live devices, same like you, but slightly different market. It's not necessarily drummers, but I look for stuff mainly on MIDI side of things, controlling external devices or sending in just one MIDI note and playing a sequence, a melody sequence, or playing some chords and stuff. And yeah, the example we saw with the velocity curve, and that's what I do online as AbletonDrummer. Got a blog and Patreon and something else, Gumroad, all that stuff.
Yeah. But what about like just drumming generally? Like, are you like playing in a band or doing session work or?
I mainly do my solo project at the moment.
Yeah.
And to be honest, not doing that much music, but more programming.
Yeah. Well, it comes in phases, doesn't it? Like, I mean, I'm sort of like, I kind of like have these periods where I do a lot of programming to make things that I think I'll either use when I do a gig or to create content that I can play back when I do a gig. But it just so happens that I don't have a gig right now. So there's lots of programming. And hopefully that might change. But
plus
pandemic.
Plus,
of course, plus the pandemic. Yeah. I mean, in 2022, I'm hoping to, do more gigs and also
take the car out to Europe.
Take the car to Europe.
Yes.
Take the plane to America, and maybe do more Kicks and Friends in other countries. If I can somehow do that without getting a visa, having to apply for a visa or something. I probably shouldn't say this on a live stream.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's how they're going to get me. That's how the tax man's going to get me.
No, but as long as you're not earning money and you're not working, if you're just like...
Well, that was kind of it. I kind of thought that I would handle it as that I was going to like someone else's party, but it so happens that I've organised the party that's someone else's party that I'm going to as a... I'm going to my mate's stag do that I've organised in New York, or something. That's kind of how I thought about it. Like, I mean, I can only really think about like it being a little bit tricky to get into America, Like if if I've just got a laptop and some clothes, I don't think they would really give a shit.
Oh.
But if I'm rocking up with a laptop and a handful of cameras, they might be like, "What are you doing?" I'm doing a photograph holiday. Why do you need 5 cameras? Because cameras. I don't know. So I'm a little bit. I think Europe would be a bit. England would be fine. Europe would be okay.
States will be fine as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if like right at the moment if you would be able even to go there if you're not having a working visa. I'm not sure about regulations at the moment. And I heard
About tourist visa.
Yeah. And just now, if like, for example, I'm vaccinated with AstraZeneca and BioNTech, and they don't accept. I think they accept both of those, but not as like if you only got one of each.
Oh right.
And stuff like that. So it's really complicated. I mean, it was even complicated to get the right forms to be able to come to England.
Really?
Because you have to fill out a form, fine, and you need to do a day 2 test. So the day you arrive is day 0, then you have 1 day and you have another day, and in this time you have to do a PCR test.
Right,
which is fine, but it's fucking expensive. So you have to pay for it, and I got a test booked. You get a reference number, and you need this reference number for filling out this form to be accepted to travel to England. So you get a reference number, you put it in the online form, and what happens? We don't know this reference number.
Oh no.
So, and you just get a form actually, and then you need to work it out how to.
What a pain in the ass.
Yes. And actually, like, just the test was more expensive than taking the train over here.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that just because of how, like, regulations in Germany, or at least where you are in Germany.
No, that's all our regulations from England.
Oh, okay, right.
So because I have to do this test tomorrow, I have to pay for it, obviously. And yeah, just to say, it's doubled my traveling costs.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Well, I hope you have a very nice time whilst you're here, because it's like otherwise it won't be worth
the test.
Crikey.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of that when I went to Germany last year. I just hopped on the plane and hopped off, and it was fine.
Really?
Yeah. I had to wear a mask sometimes at the bar.
Right. Yeah.
Or walking around the bar. But otherwise, it was fine there. I don't think they even looked at my passport. And that was to Berlin.
But was that pre-Brexit?
No, this was August 2020.
Right. Okay.
So I was still on furlough from work. So we're kind of having a normal conversation, and we're still on the internet. I'm sorry. Maybe.
Yeah. Why not?
Maybe you could like play us some music.
Yeah.
You could do like a little.
Maybe let's
do like a little performance. I need to go for a piss.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the comments. Sorry, everyone. We were just having normal banter. Let's see what we've got here. I have a Pad 8 from the 80s, and the clamp works with the SPD SX also. Roland has the same clamp for a very long time. It's kind of a standard. Ah, okay. Mm-hmm. Aaron Levitz has got to run. See you next time. Aaron, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Aaron from Los Angeles.
Yes. I think we met on a meetup, Max Music Hackspace meetup, maybe some time ago, yeah. What? Why is this person talking about the levelers?
The levelers?
What? How did the levelers come up in conversation? Are you on the right stream, mate?
Might be my accent. Levelers.
The levelers are still fine and are still fiddling with themselves. What the fuck's he on about? I think he's come onto the stream by mistake. Okay, all right. I'll go. I'll full screen the the MIDI controller, and I'm just going to take a piss.
Right.
You do your thing.
Ready.
I'll mute the mics, yeah?
Okay.
Jazz Club. Hang on, so I just missed all of that because I was having a piss.
Yes.
What exactly did you just do? You just made all of that just then?
Yeah.
Cool.
And getting that to rap freestyle.
Oh, is this my freestyle
That's
moment?
a freestyle moment.
Hello. Let's go. I'm gonna freestyle, which I'm not very good at. So be nice. Yeah. I like beer. It makes me feel very cheery. Don't get teary with me. It'll be fine. What else do I like? Well, I don't know. Well, no, I do know, but I've just lost a bit of confidence because I've been put on the spot and I'm not rhyming anything. Who says that it has to rhyme? Maybe I could just talk and choose carefully how I phrase my words, because sometimes music is about the gaps between the sounds.
This is fun.
Okay. Well, yeah, I suppose I do like beer. I could go back to beer. What rhymes with beer? Tears, cheer, I did that already. No, I can't think of anything else. Timothy Leary.
Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it? Live looping. And then when you're not like really tight with the beat.
I
I was like, I wasn't. That's what I meant. Not your rapping.
Oh no! I mean, like, no, that wasn't even rapping. That was just me being awkward.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, the live looping thing it's so good when people can do it. I've tried it so many times, and there would be nothing better for me than to be able to rock up to a space with nothing other than something that I could use to create something unique. But I don't know, sometimes it kind of brings in a few problems as well. Like, if it's so unique, does it have any meaning? You know, if it's all on the cuff, if it's all on the fly, does it really, you know, it's improvised, it's right there in front of you, but is it really like a piece of music, or is it, you know, I mean, I'm sort of playing devil's advocate a little bit, but you know, because I love it, but at the same time, I've watched loads of people just kind of riff it out from nothing, and it's been brilliant. But I've kind of gone away thinking, well, there's not a huge amount I can remember from it, you know.
Okay.
Rather than like going to watch someone who has done a piece of music that I know I like, and then hearing them perform that piece of music, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, I think that it's, I mean, I'm guessing, just looking from the clips here, that you just kind of like looped all of those ideas.
Yeah, it's just preset MIDI clip length, and then switching on the session record up here, which I can do via the pad up here, and then just arming the different tracks, because I got a 2-bar or 4-bar MIDI clip here for the chords.
How do you set that up with? Because I know that that's a thing you can do on push, right? You can say fixed length, 2 bars, 4 bars, or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you do that without?
Because I already have clips, but I'm using like the session record.
Oh, I see. So they're
It's,
empty clips.
Yeah, empty clips.
Yeah,
so they're set already. So they're playing now. Let's get rid of this one.
Yeah. I'm back in the zone.
Yay.
Ready to freestyle on YouTube. Everyone's gonna go nuts. Yeah. I'm feeling the vibes. Everybody chill. Don't get upset. Have a nice time.
And then I'm just switching.
Make
to
some
the
noise.
arming of bass.
Drum rack tuner. So the drum rack tunes to a musical scale, right? Is that what that's for?
Yes, well, in this case, I just used it for... well, let's start from the top. So we got this tool here, which is actually just receiving trigger notes. And for example, the C1 here, let me activate this. The C1 here is just a trigger note. So the pad is sending in a C1, and the whole row here, those notes are being triggered. So,
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah. So those note pitches
you've
are
got a
just for triggering.
Yeah. But then what it triggers is this chord that you've... So you've chosen that chord?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Nice.
it's Note to Chords version 3, and you have like a few presets in here, so you can just drag and drop presets onto this device.
And this is one of your...
Yeah.
This is your design. Yeah.
And you can go deeper if you want to. You can import selected MIDI notes from a MIDI clip as well. So if you have like chords somewhere in a MIDI clip, you can just import those here, and you can, if you want to go really, really deep. So for example, you have the root note here, and you want this to be louder. So now this amount of numbers here is going to be added to, making the D sharp one You can set fixed velocities or live velocity or add or subtract velocities. So you get much more flexibility here than just using the chord device, because you don't only add notes to a root note you're sending in, you have the root note and the trigger note, or the trigger note is just for triggering the whole what you want to set up. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first thing. Sorry.
So, no. So it's something that I was thinking about that I think would be really great is kind of like, you can't, and I think maybe I might have seen you do something with this actually, thinking about it, is that like you can't trigger a MIDI sequence from a drum rack cell. So I was kind of thinking, what if you like made like a MIDI plugin that kind of fires off a MIDI sequence when it's triggered, and then how you would do that. So like I know that there's a couple of there's the SEQ tilde object in Max that will record and play back MIDI, but it needs a phaser to drive it.
Okay.
And a phaser obviously just ramps from 0 to 1 over and over again like an oscillator. So you would need like a kind of almost like a one-shot signal to tell that thing, and you can load MIDI into it, and then it will play it back based around the rate of the signal that reads through it. And that's scaled from 0 to 1. So if you put like a 32 bar MIDI file into it, but the signal is going from 0 to 1 over the course of a bar, it's going to play it like 4 times as fast, however many times as fast. And I was thinking that could be really nice, because like you can obviously trigger musical phrases from a drum rack, but really only if they're an audio file, or if it's like a kind of complex, convoluted thing you've done with the stock MIDI effects. Like if it was something that you wrote specifically. And so I'm just throwing that in there. What do you think of that? I kind of have a feeling that I've seen you do something a bit similar, but I'm not sure.
I probably have a solution for it on here, but
it has to be in time as well. It's got to be in time to the transport.
So but why not using a MIDI clip then and just?
But I mean, like I quite like drum racks. I quite like the environment. I quite like the idea of having 128 things, slots. Slots for anything, like all kinds of stuff. And that's good for samples and MIDI events, but it's not so good for actual MIDI sequences. So I guess it's either a MIDI file player that can be triggered by an event, or a sequencer that can be restarted by an event that only just plays the once through, or something. That was just an idea I had like some time ago.
I mean, in the end, you could do this via MIDI clips and just reroute the MIDI you're sending in and rerouting that via an IC driver and sending the MIDI back to clip slots.
Oh, really? I hadn't thought of that. No. Like a loop back?
Yeah, because in the end, what you're saying is just something like this, isn't it? So you want like 128 slots. So in the end, you would just host those in scenes. So you would have 128 scenes. So if you have a MIDI clip here, so those would be your slots. But you don't want to trigger those directly for visual reasons, I guess. So you could have those being set up like this via the MIDI notes.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, I get you. So from the controller,
from the controller, yeah, okay. So, and if you now have a drum rack, you wouldn't even need a drum rack, but I mean, let's move to the drum rack tuner because it's very similar. you could now send out it's actually on here. You could now send out those slots here to trigger.
Oh, from that thing right there.
No, not from
Oh,
but via
like a MIDI
Max for
loopback thing.
Live. Or you could just you could just
In fact, actually, you could
have all those MIDI
you could
slots
you could send the MIDI out just to a regular Max patch that's receiving MIDI from Ableton, and then sending it back either as MIDI note data or as a CC back into Ableton, because you know that you can route MIDI in and out of Max from any program.
I see,
So you could kind of like, because they've kind of massively extended the audio and MIDI routing options now in I think Live 11 and Max 8. Recently, maybe last year. So you can send MIDI to an audio device now in Max for Live, and you can send audio, I believe, to a MIDI device via Max for Live as well, which I've not tried, but I see you've got a load of stuff.
Great, Genau. So
Audio to MIDI trigger.
Hey. So you've
done it. You've basically done it already.
You can send an audio here. So don't know. It could be like a trigger from a drum. Drum is always great because you don't have like sustain. You just get an initial.
You get a high hit.
And then it shows you the threshold, and if it's over a certain threshold, it creates an impulse, and you can set a scan time, which is a term which is used in eDrum module time. So you don't want a second hit to be detected after the first hit, because you would get double triggers.
Okay.
And and then you just send out the MIDI note, and this is really great. In Ableton Live 11, you can set it to whatever MIDI track you want it to.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
So
but that's on an audio track.
That's on an audio track, so you could send an audio in here. So this is still like early days. It's even not even beta.
So you don't even have to map it. It's just routing it to MIDI.
You just create
that's
MIDI,
so
and
good.
you have all the tracks available, and that's a great thing. So you could say like, you could have a track. Give me MIDI, a MIDI track, and this MIDI track is showing up here. Can route it in.
Wow. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh. The TV's gone off. Turn the TV back on. Yeah, I mean, for me, like for me, it's a little bit more the other way around. It's more kind of like, how can I use MIDI to control audio effects? So rather than kind of having to rely on the standard sort of interface design of like, you have to control it all from the device itself. Like, what if I could just send a MIDI keyboard to that device? MIDI sidechaining, effectively.
Yeah.
And when they brought that out, I was like, oh shit, this is now I'm going to be able to do those things I've wanted to do, but I haven't done them yet. But like, I don't know. Is it quite difficult to implement, to wrap your head around?
Should we have a look into it?
Can have a go. Yeah. I mean, it might look quite pixely on this.
It might not be. I mean, it's all in there. I wonder what I open up now. I hope I don't have too many notes in there.
You're showing the desktop, right? Yeah, you are. Yeah. So we, because it must be like pretty kind of complicated.
No, it's not, and it's actually in there. 8.2 is available now, public release.
Yeah, I picked it up yesterday. Yeah. You might want to zoom in quite a lot.
So this is, still developing time, so it's not that sort. But if we have a look on the section down here, and this is just stuff which is actually in the, yeah. So this is,
Can you zoom in a bit? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Live.this device. What's in that routing patch then?
it's just a help patch from,
Oh, okay. This something they put in themselves?
Yep. Yep. And that's really.
Can you
pixel.
zoom in a little bit on this? Not the text, the stuff on the the right hand side.
It's just looking for all the different channels which are there, like.
Oh, so there is a bit of it's API stuff. Live Observer, live.this device.
It's kind of like API stuff, but it's just patches actually, and you just need to copy that bit here into your audio effect
To receive the MIDI.
to be able to. I mean, this device is for sending MIDI.
Oh yeah.
And then you just define via this menu here where all your MIDI out devices are going to. All MIDI out devices in the same page are being defined by the stuff which is selected here. So it's so easy.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe I've got to try it because, like, I make all these audio effects and they're all kind of based on probability because I haven't worked out a way to be able to do that with MIDI keys or controller buttons or whatever. And that was kind of the next phase. It was like, well, yeah, now I can actually just have a button to create the effect that I want rather than having to dial it in or use convoluted mapping or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's the same for the MIDI ins. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's in the help file or in the download from Cycling 74 which came out when Ableton 11 was introduced.
yeah, so I think it was maybe March this year.
Came out in
March, April this year.
February, yeah. And then there was a session on Music Hackspace as well by Mark from Leicester.
Mark Towers.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah.
From Mark. Yeah. So and he went through the stuff, and that's how I found out.
Yeah, I can't even remember how I found out about it. I think it was I did get like some people at Ableton did show me a couple of like devices that a chap had made where you could control from a MIDI keyboard. You could control the start position of an audio clip on another track.
Mm-hmm.
So you drop in your clip, and then you tell the MIDI device to look at that clip, and then already the MIDI keyboard is ready to offset the start position of that audio clip.
Okay.
And I was like, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely the direction they need to go in, I think. Mm-hmm. But it does sort of strike me as being a little bit sort of overwhelming to implement. Oh my God, Kieran Foster's just given us £25. I haven't looked at the comments for a little while.
Oh.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. Well, I mean, Turismo Blue has dropped some fruit emojis. Nice stuff. YouTube CC auto transcribe surprisingly accurate. Oh, he's watching with the subtitles on, I'm guessing. Raw Pringles with no dips. For shame. Me rocks Pringles with queso and salsa. Wow. Get you. Oh, everyone's commenting on me vaping. Well, we just made 25 quid. Well, I did.
Perfect.
I'll PayPal you half of it.
You paid for the Pringles and the beer. And
I did, which we've just run out of.
We still have some pizza.
And we do have pizza, yeah. We've run out of beer. Well, we got a beer each left, so
I have one, just one.
Or just one? We can get more. It's
I
fine.
bought it for someone in the hostel I stayed yesterday, but he didn't want it. So.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to show us? Another jam, or we could just wrap it up? We've been going for over 2 hours.
Yeah, wrap it up, I think.
Okay, all right. Well,
just if people are interested, get in touch for drum-related stuff with Ableton Live.
shall I post a link right now in the comments, and then
Yes,
when this is over, I'll update the description.
Yeah.
So what do I'm going to go to Ableton Drummer in Google.
.com.
I got it.
Perfect.
All things Ableton Live and drumming. Okay. I'm going to post this now in the chat. Go and check it out. Accept all cookies. Thank you. Oh, there's some fun graphics on here. This is cool. Okay. All right. Oh my God, my computer's going a little bit. All right, go and check out the Ableton Drummer. Follow, subscribe, like, share, etc., etc. Thanks for this. This has been pretty cool. This is the first time I've done something like this in my gaff, so maybe it might be the first of many.
Perfect.
But yeah, but you know, we'll probably carry on now. Thanks for the stream. It says Paradiddle 16. Okay. Anything you want to say?
I need to go for a wee.
Okay, all right. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and if you're watching not live, then I hope you liked it, and see you next time. So I'm going to end the stream, but I have to wait 15 seconds.
Yes.
Apparently. Okay.
Without saying anything.
Without saying anything.
Yeah.
So